Hi, I'm Rose Crumley, and I'm going to tell the story of The Seven Ravens, a folktale by the Brothers Grimm. And I chose it because I live near Baltimore, and I like all things ravens. Once there was a father with 7 sons, but he really wanted a daughter. So he was thrilled when his wife announced that she was pregnant. When the baby was born, it was a girl, but she was sickly and frail, so it was decided she needed an emergency baptism. The father sent the eldest son to go get fresh water from the well. All the brothers followed after the firstborn, and when they got to the well, they jostled over who was going to get to put the jug in the water first. Well, all that jostling caused the jug to fall into the well, and they couldn't get it out. They were so afraid to go back to the father without the jug of water that they delayed getting home. The father became increasingly agitated and then angry. "My godless sons," he said. "I just wish they would all turn into ravens." And sure enough, as soon as he said that, 7 ravens crossed the sky. He regretted saying it, but there was nothing he could do to take it back. So they raised their one daughter, who actually did get healthy and grew into a beautiful little girl. She was walking in the village one day when she overheard some neighbors, some villagers, gossiping about her. "How beautiful she is," they said. "How wonderful that they have a daughter, but how sad about the boys and how it was her fault that the boys had turned into ravens." She was so upset. She had never even heard that she had brothers, so she ran home and asked her parents, and her parents said yes, it was true, but it wasn't her fault, it was just meant to be. Well, she started to lose sleep at night. She felt super responsible. So one day she decided that she was going to sneak away and try to find her brothers and fix this problem. So she packed in a little bag some bread for when she was hungry, a little stool to sit on if she got tired, and her parents' ring as a sentimental memento. And off she went. She walked far, far, far away. One day she even met up with the sun. But the sun was hot and looked like it could eat children, so she stayed away. She walked so far she met up with the moon, but the moon was cold and she could hear it say, I think I smell some human flesh. So she didn't approach the moon either. But then she met up with some stars, and they were warm and beautiful, and each one was sitting in its own little chair. And the morning star asked her what she needed. So she told the story of her 7 brothers, and the morning star said, "Oh, you'll find them in the glass mountain. What you're gonna need is this chicken bone." And she handed her a chicken bone and said, "This will unlock the door at the glass mountain so that you can get inside." So she carefully wrapped it up in a cloth and put it in her bag and walked to the glass mountain. When she arrived at the glass mountain, she opened up the cloth and discovered that she had lost the bone. It wasn't there. And she wasn't to be deterred, so she decided to cut off her own finger to open up the glass mountain. And she did, and it worked, and she got in. And when she got inside, there were no ravens, but there was a servant who asked her what she needed. "I'm here to find my brothers, the 7 ravens." "Oh," said the servant, "well, have a seat at the table. They're coming home soon for dinner." So she sat down at the table and she noticed that there was food and drink. So she had a little sip of every glass and a little bit of food from every plate. And at the last plate, she took that ring she had kept and she put it down onto that plate. And when she heard them coming back, she decided to hide behind a door. She hid behind the door, and the ravens came in, and one by one they each noticed that there was some food missing from their plate. "It looks like a human has been here," they said. Well, the last raven looked at his plate and saw the ring that belonged to his mother and father, and he said, "Oh, I hope this is from our sister. Maybe she can turn us back into humans again." And with that, she came out from behind the door, and they immediately turned back into people, and they had a wonderful reunion. They hugged, and they went back home, and they lived happily ever after with their mother and their father. And that is the end of the story. The moral being, be very, very careful what you wish for. I hope you enjoyed this story. Thanks a lot.